అరుణాచల శ్రీ 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 రమణేశ్వరాయ నమః. మైండ్ మైండ్ the mind turned inwards the mind turned inwards is the self the self means the consciousness or Atman, Brahman, according to Upanishads. These types of different names are there. Whatever the names you call, totally it is consciousness or Atman, soul, Brahman, the self. Sri Ramana Maharshi, in his words, in his terms, the self. The mind turned inwards is the self. Turned outwards, it becomes the ego. And all the world, it becomes the ego and all the world. The one is real. The one is real. The many are mere names and forms. The one is real. The many are mere names and forms. You see, for instance, I will tell you, many various colorful different parts made of clay. Nobody remembers clay. Nobody observes clay in it because the pot is looking very beautiful. Such beautiful parts are many more in different forms. But nobody finds clay in it. Similarly, there is Atman, there is consciousness, out of which everything is formed, spontaneously formed. This is all running by that. That nobody is observing because he is in world. He is falling in the world. He is in deceit of the world. He is in deceit of the world. That is why he is not able to find consciousness, find the self. How I have given one instance about parts, not only parts, human beings, animals, creatures, entire world, entire creation, in the ocean, in the water, in the air. So many kinds of, so many types of insects and animals. This is all world. Trees, plants and all that. This is all world which we see. That is, the many are mere names and forms. These are all out of one, the real one, the consciousness. According to Ramana Maharshi, the self out of the self. Therefore, the one is real, the many are mere names and forms. But the mind does not exist apart from self. The mind does not exist apart from self. That is, it has no independent existence. The mind has no independent existence. The mind has no independent existence. That is why some great people say, no mind, there is no mind existence, there is no mind at all. Some great people used to say, because it has no independent existence. The mind only exists with the self. It means the mind does not exist apart from self. The mind does not exist apart from self. The self exists. The self exists without mind. Once I told in the topic of consciousness, the consciousness, every time, everywhere, the consciousness is still there, though there is no mind and no body. Once I told, the consciousness is still there. It is out of mind and body. Similarly, the self exists without mind. The self exists without mind. Never the mind without self. Never the mind without self. Never the mind without self exists. The self exists without mind. So, thus, I would like to explain about mind. Everybody, being human, everybody must be aware of what is mind. I have tried, I have attempted to give you some information about mind for some better understanding about mind. Thank you.